Okay, welcome. I'll go ahead and call the Planning Commission meeting for May 17th to order. Confirmation of the posting and roll call.
This meeting has been posted in accordance to Nevada open meeting law. All members are present in the chambers except for Member Rudd and Member Biaggi, who is on the phone.
Fantastic, thank you. Please rise and join me in the Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Thank you. We'll open up this first initial public comment. Public comment during this portion of the agenda must be limited to matters on the agenda for action. Any person wishing to speak during the first initial public comment. Members of the public may participate and could have written in comments. Do we want to go over the comments at the time of the agenda item on there? I know that we've got a couple of emails.
Those were submitted as emails and not public comments, so that's why they were all copied for you on the dais.
Fantastic. During this time, members of the public may also issue their comment by calling in to 702-589-9629. Hearing and seeing none, we'll go ahead and close the first initial public comment period. Agenda item number 1 for possible action, approval of the minutes of the April 19th, 2023 regular meeting.
I'll move for approval.
I'll second.
I've got a motion and a second. All those in favor?
Aye.
All opposed?
Aye.
Motion carries. I'll give a slight delay for the members on the phone. Moving on to agenda item number 2 for possible action. V23665, Christina Vela, on behalf of St. Jude's Ranch of the Children's Healing Center.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. The commissioners, most of you should be familiar with the fact that St. Jude's originally started an application back in 2019 to develop the remaining 10 to 11 acres of their property for what they're calling a healing center, and that will focus on residency and providing assistance for victims of child sex trafficking. The most recent version of the plans for the healing center were approved by the Planning Commission and City Council in 2021. At this time, the building permits for the 9 buildings that are to be built are in the review process. And as part of their plans, they are proposing to have an 8-foot steel security fence within the Healing Center complex that will be also within the existing block walls that surround the entire campus. And once the new buildings are in place, that ornamental security fence is likely not going to be very noticeable given the distance it will be from surrounding property lines. For reference, it will be 20 feet inside the northerly boundary line next to the Bella Vista subdivision. And because of the road and a large utility easement there, the closest homes in Bella Vista are 180 feet from the boundary. So we're talking this new fence will be 200 feet from the closest homes. To the east, next to the Blue Lake subdivision, the fence will be 34 feet inside the existing boundary wall. And again, there's a major utility easement and road on the adjacent part of the Blue Lake subdivision, so that new decorative security fence is going to be at least a total of 104 to 134 feet from the closest homes in Blue Lake, because the closest homes are 70 to 100 feet inside on their side of the property. And then lastly, the fence will be a good 40 feet inside the boundary facing the highway. And then also in your packet, and Holly can go forward a few, we've got some photos that show if you could advance a couple. I added them later today. Mhm.
You have to do this to show them because they're not real.
Oh, yeah, it's coming up now, yeah. Okay, the top photo is the view from the highway, and you can see the excuse me, scroll back down. The white wall on the left side is the St. Jude's wall. The brown wall is Blue Lake's wall. If you'll scroll a little down, that is the view from Blue Lake. So as you can see, there's a slight grades upward from Blue Lake Drive, and then the existing fence is, stay there, Holly. That will remain. One of the citizen comments objected to raising the existing wall from 6 to 8 feet, and that is not going to happen. This existing boundary wall is going to stay the same as it is 6 feet. And so the new security fence is going to be another 34 feet beyond this wall. So it's likely not going to be, visible, or at least not very visible, from the Blue Lake side of the property. And from 100 feet, I'm not sure most people could actually distinguish 6 feet from 8 feet in terms of a height anyway. And then scroll one more down, Holly, and then that is the view from Valencia Drive to the north in the Bella Vista subdivision. So the staff report goes over the findings that the Planning Commission need to find in favor of if they choose to approve this request, and there's alternate findings that can be considered for approval or denial. If this request is approved, there is the standard recommended condition that the variance approval is based on these plans that you have before you in any discussion that is occurring tonight. And with that, I'll be happy to answer any questions.
Do we have the applicant here this evening?
We were told their architectural representative was supposed to be here, and I know I had copied him the information last week, but apparently
Traffic's really bad, maybe he's...
that very
Tied
well
up.
may be the case.
Okay, since the applicant's not here to present anything, I'll open up the dais up here if there's any questions of staff, and then we'll have to table any questions for applicant if needed, and then we'll entertain a motion.
You'll also need to conduct the public hearing.
Just go down the checklist here. Any questions of staff? No, nothing? On the phone line? Nope, good to go.
Yeah, hey, I do have, this is Ernie. I do have one question, and I was going to ask it of the applicant, and that has to do with the color, the material colors, the baluster and theoretically the pilaster colors. I noticed the drawing didn't indicate a color on the pilasters, but I couldn't tell if there was a color also for the balusters.
Unfortunately, I can't answer that either if it wasn't provided on the plans, but I'm sure St.
Okay.
Jude's would be willing to take any recommendations.
Well, I guess since there isn't anything specified, the only thing I guess would be good is if they're at least neutral colors. That would be one consideration to. So, if you heard me, I guess I'd say neutral colors would be a recommendation.
Would that just be a recommendation, or do you want to include that in as a mere suggestion for the findings and subject to the conditions?
The way I would put it is if staff in their review would they just naturally do that? I'd say put it in the recommendation if we need to, unless the staff can just work that with the applicant.
Mr. Chairman, if, depending on how strongly the commission feels about this, we could certainly pass that comment on. If you'd rather make that official, you would add that as a condition of.
That's what I was trying to get the sentiments from Ernie, and it sounds like we can probably just do the staff work and have you guys just pass those sentiments along rather than making it official, because I don't want to sit here and split hairs of what the natural color is and corner an applicant into something like that, so.
Sure, exactly. That's why I say just neutral is all that I think is important.
Perfect. Thank you. Anything else?
Not for me, thank you.
Okay. Anything else from the dais? Okay, we're going to conduct the required public hearing. We will open up to public comment. Public comment must be restricted to this matter. Anyone wishing to be heard? Yes, ma'am, in the back, please come forward. And please go ahead and just state your name for the record.
My name's Janet. I live on Valencia Drive. And my question is, they're putting I'm assuming a wrought iron fencing? Is that what we're discussing around the perimeter there, or is it a steel fencing?
Plans, I'm sorry.
Go ahead. Yeah.
The plans indicate that will be steel. If Holly could put the graphic back up again.
It's going to be vertical paneling.
Okay. Well, my question is, between the 20 feet that's from the existing wall to the new wall, will they be planting vegetation in there?
Once again, that'd be a question for the applicant. That's something we can absolutely pass along.
Mr. Chairman?
Yes, please.
One of the graphics in the packet is the landscape plan, and that's also, I'm not sure what Holly's able to put up on the screen or not, but that was
I think it's the
the
smaller.
second.
Yeah,
It
there we
was
go.
the second drawing, yeah. So I don't know if, oh, good, you can zoom in on that. If you could go towards the top, because she's asking about near Valencia. Whoop.
I think that demonstrates,
Yeah, most of the new landscaping will be inside the wall, at least on the eastern half, but on the western half by the parking lot, it'll be outside the fencing. Rather, excuse me, there'll be no new landscaping between the fence and the wall for the eastern part, but next to the parking lot to the west, the landscaping will be outside the fence.
Okay. That's it.
Ma'am, can you state your last name?
Bateman?
Thank you.
yes.
Sorry, traffic was horrible.
Are you our architect?
Yes.
Okay, hold on for 1 second. We're going to go ahead and continue on with public comment, and then I'll bring you up for any sort of presentation.
Thank you.
Anyone else wishing to be heard during this public comment? Yes, sir, please come forward.
My name's Lonzo James. I live at 681 Blue Lake Court. I would like to say, first of all, I'm against this whole project. If it were going to be successful, I'd be 100% behind it. But the whole project is not faith-based, and without a faith-based project, as far as what they're going to do in the facility, it's going to have single-digit success rate. You can't reform people by doing yoga and a little bit of counseling. It just doesn't work. Okay. But having said that, if you would scroll back to the pictures there that shows the view, that what people should see from the Blue Lake Drive, could you slide back to that one? Not that one. That was the Highway 93. That one right there. That picture is deceptive, like a lot of things that's happened with this thing. No one lives in the roadbed there. They live in houses back from that, and they're much taller than that. This is my view from my back patio. This is what I see. This is what homeowners might see. You see this? Does that look anything like what was up there? No, people don't live in a roadbed. Now, previously with other things, they did come out and show something closer to what it would look like, and it would be this. This is closer. And when it really comes down to it, I'm not against a 8-foot wall, or I'm sorry, an 8-foot fence inside the 6-foot one. I do have a problem with the plans there showed no distances between each vertical thing. So I have no idea what that is. So that should be specified, each vertical standard within the fence. So is it going to be 6-inch, 12, 24? Could somebody just walk through it? I don't know. Okay, the other thing is, I'm a former employee of NV Energy. You do not put metal fences parallel to high voltage power lines like that without putting grounds every 12 or 24 feet. You need to drive grounds in there. Otherwise, electricity will be induced into that electric fence. That's why cattlemen don't run barbed wire fences parallel to that. At NV Energy, inside every substation, every one of our pilasters are grounded because they know voltage will be induced into it. So if you approve this, I would say you would approve it on the condition that they do proper grounding on that, because that's a safety issue. The second thing is, on this fence, it showed no gates anywhere. It just showed what a gate would be. Now, on our side over here, there is landscaping. There's trees, and there's also a wash between that security fence and the regular fence. Unless they are forced to put a gate in there, it's going to be, they have no access to it. So we'll end up with dead trees or other things there because they couldn't get any heavy equipment in there. So I would say if you approve it, there needs to be gates so they could access equipment in between the two fences so that they can do proper things, because no one wants to destroy a block wall fence to get equipment in there. That should be in the design. Thank you for your time.
Thank you. Anyone else wishing to be heard during this public comment? The public could also write in during this public comment period. Do we have any public comment writing in?
Both emails you received were pertaining to this item.
Fantastic. Also, public comment can be made by dialing in to 702-589-9629. Okay, we'll go ahead and close this public comment portion. Administratively, we can go ahead and ask the applicant to come forward. We can ask questions. We can do that stuff. Do I then have to have another public hearing afterwards?
Correct. You've closed the public hearing.
Fantastic. I'll go ahead and invite you up. Please introduce yourself and tell us a little bit about your project, and then we'll fire
Okay.
away.
Edward Vance with EVA Architects, 1160 Town Center Drive, Las Vegas, Nevada. And thank you for allowing me to make it. It was harrowing driving here. Thank you for your comments. And I couldn't agree with you more on every single front. I have, and I want to enter, and do you have a camera above this, or where do I place this?
What do you want?
I'm sorry?
Do you want me to zoom in on you?
Should I just give it to you?
No, hold it up. You can hold it up. If you hold it.
So I can just hold it up?
Yeah.
Okay, and I'll enter this into the record. We prepared a new, oh gosh, look at that.
Well, if you stand still.
Stop moving.
Okay, hold on.
And it's hard to tell from
You gotta
there.
go to your right or your left.
Okay, I got you, but it's just,
Center it, 'cause I can only see
Yeah,
it
yeah.
now.
right. And it's hard to tell
Just
the
hold it
landscape.
up a little.
This is
There you go, there you go.
This is the same view that
There you go.
the distinguished man before me had. And we went
But
ahead.
speak into the mic too, I'm sorry.
Oh, sorry. And so many moves here.
Now you're really on.
We had, we prepared a new visual that I can make copies for everyone, and I'll enter this into the record. And it's difficult to tell, but you can see the fence behind, and we're about 30 feet beyond our 6-foot block wall, and everyone knows that. The 8-foot is really, the reason we're asking for this waiver is because that's just deterrence. Even I, at 65, could jump over a 6-foot wall. 8-foot, I'm thinking twice about that. So that's what we're doing there. The pilasters are about 30 feet apart, so that's what his question was, that they are grounded. And we will have 2 big gates that allow access for mechanical and other equipment to access those. We don't want those plants to die either. So I wanted to address those 3 questions. We do have another site plan here, and I can enter that into the record as well. And I'm here to answer any questions you may have beyond that.
We had one question brought
Sure.
up earlier as to the nature of the color, as the fence, the color.
Yeah.
You guys have that in mind? Have you put that to paper?
We have, they're in the working documents. They'll be, it's really a sort of a mauve colored, light colored, try to blend into the landscaping.
Perfect. I
Yep.
think that was the only recommendation from
Yeah.
the panel prior to, is to make it a neutral
Yes.
color that's easier tones with the
Right.
land there. I'll open it up if any of the commissioners have questions of the applicant at this time.
Mr. Chairman, actually, one of the comments the citizen questioned about is he wondered what the distance was between the individual posts.
Right,
Not
and-
the pilasters, but the fence pickets,
Oh,
so to
right,
speak.
right.
That's what he meant. He was wondering if the distance between each fence picket was 6 inches or what.
Those are less than a foot, so, yeah. We don't want people to sneak through the fence. So,
Okay, thank you very much.
You're welcome.
I will go ahead and swing it back around here to the dais. I will entertain a motion, offer up discussion.
I move to conditionally approve V-23-665 based on the findings and subject to the condition contained on pages 3 and 4 of the staff report.
I'll second.
I've got a motion and a second. All those in favor? Aye.
Aye.
All those opposed? Motion carries. Okay, item number 3 on the agenda, the monthly progress report.
No comment.
Well, we're going to get out of here quick then. Fantastic. Moving on then, we will open it up for the final public comment. Anyone wishing to speak during the final public comment period? I believe there were no written comments. Anyone wishing to speak during this final public comment period can call 702-589-9629. Hearing and seeing none, we will go ahead and close the final public comment period and meeting adjourned. Thank you all for another wonderful evening. I am going to go veg. I've had 4
Okay. Signing off.
this morning. I have not seen. The reason I sent him was he wanted to be